Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the GA orientation. If you can hear me, raise your hand. That's a new trick I learned earlier this week, so I'm proud to use it. So my name is Lynn Marie, and I am the chair of the GA committee. And if you're here, you have received an email from me, definitely. If you have not received any emails, please see me like right now. So I know this is an overwhelming experience for some. A few years ago, I was also in your position as a GA. I did my MPM here at SPP, so I know there are many questions, there are lots of forms, there are lots of instructions. So today we just want to have you here, settled in, and go through all of the expectations, responsibilities, payroll, training, everything that you need to set you up for success as a GE. We will introduce you to today. So I'm going to introduce you to Associate Dean here at the School of Public Policy, Nina Harris, who will go through roles and responsibilities of this very important job that you have. So please welcome Dr. Harris.
I think I saw, talked to, met most of you all yesterday. So thank you for coming back. I appreciate that. I'm just going to take a few minutes because I don't know if I have anything that's really going to help you with your experience, but I'll start before I give you some information and kind of reiterate some of what we said yesterday. And that is we are here for you. So you're getting a lot of information yesterday, a lot of information today, but don't think that we're not available to you to sort some of this out as you enter the school, enter these processes, especially the GA. So a couple things that I want to highlight are you all received a letter from us. You received it's like a contract. I signed it, you signed it, and it's like our binding agreement. I just want to point out a few of those things in there and to make sure, my segment was added to this particular orientation probably like 2 or 3 years ago. And I want to be transparent with you. It's because we had some GAs who said, I got a GA ship, but it's not really a job, right? These are really jobs. So I wanted to make sure that everybody kind of understood this and accept that. When you signed this contract with us, you signed an agreement just like you would have your job with these wonderful jobs that you've either had or that you're going to get after you graduate. The dates are in there. You technically started on August 17th. So some of you may have had supervisors already reaching out to you and saying, hey, you're mine. I know I met with mine on the 18th because they started working on the 17th. And they go all the way until May 21st, 2027. That's really hard when you're in school taking multiple classes. Hearing some of you yesterday, you're taking like 3 or 4 classes, both semesters. So you're going to be juggling a lot. I want to emphasize, and it is in your letter, that we do prioritize your academics. We understand that. I never did the GA route. Honestly, my last 2 degrees that I got, I worked as a full-time employee at the University of Delaware. Part of my benefits was to go to school for free. So I worked full-time and went to school. So I was real lucky in that sense. So I personally don't have a GA experience, but I know that it can get tough. I know it can get overwhelming. And I never took 4 classes in a semester while I was doing that. So we're very sympathetic and we want you to know, and you have Director of Graduate Studies, you met your advisor, Hermione, yesterday. There's so many people here that want you to finish your degree. So I want to reemphasize that. And that's why it's in this contract, that is our priority. But so is your job, right? You still have a job. So I wanted to emphasize that part is actually important. And in a minute, I'm going to go over this thing that you probably have heard about called the Statement of Mutual Expectation. And that's probably one of the most critical documents you're going to have. It is basically your agreement that you have with your supervisor. That is your opportunity. Has anyone done their Statement of Mutual Expectation yet? A couple of them. All right, so not many. So I'm going to give you some advice in a few minutes on how to kind of go about that, because that part is super, super, super important, and probably will set the tone for how you experience your GA-ship. There's lots of helpful links and information in here about the UMD holiday. When you are working, not working, some students will say, well, we have a winter break. I don't have classes. Am I still working during winter break? You're on payroll from August 17th to May 21st. But that's where that statement of mutual expectation comes in. I personally, as a supervisor, don't expect my GA to be available to me over winter break. I want you to have that mental reset. Some supervisors might, right? But that is something that you talk about very early. You could say, I'm traveling, I'm not even going to be here. How can you have those expectations? Those are the things that you kind of work out very early. Most of you have 10-hour appointments. Figure out how that works in your week. Some of you have 2 10-hour appointments. So you have because you were lucky enough to get another assistantship. But know that most of you have a half 10-hour appointment, and figure out what that means. That is an actual 10 hours a week, or it can be 8 hours one week, 12 hours the next week. Again, that's something that you work out with your supervisor based on your schedule. I would not be, I feel like I'm on campus 27 years, in the school 20 of those years. I feel like most of the people in the school are flexible. If you have an open, honest conversation with your supervisor, they will be supportive of whatever it is that you need. When I see our graduate students kind of get into trouble is because they don't know that they can have those conversations with their supervisors and that it's going to be okay, right? So you start hiding, masking, not doing well. You might be struggling in a class and you might need a week where you don't do any work. That might be okay with your supervisor, but just have that conversation. Most of the people that I know in the school would be welcome to sit down and have a negotiation with you. What can we do to make sure that my needs as a supervisor are met and you're still making progress towards degree? If you ever get into a bind and say, I need to have that conversation and I don't even know how to have that conversation, it's not in my personality, I don't like conflict, let one of us know so we can help navigate that experience. The worst thing you can do is to let something kind of escalate, because again, this is the job. What are the consequences if you lose an assistantship? You lose all those benefits that come with the assistantship, and we don't want that. And that is probably the most consequential part of these assistantships. When something goes wrong, there is a termination process. There's all kinds of appeals. You'll see in a letter, like, please do look at those links. We have had graduate assistants have to break their relationship with their job because of whatever is happening, low performance, or they get in a bind and they can't get out of it. There's so many consequences. It's not just about that biweekly payment, right? It's about your tuition remission. All those things can go away. So that's why I was like, I want to really hammer home that this is a job and take it seriously. And if anything ever goes bad, if you feel like you can't keep up, and don't let that be the consequence. Talk to one of us. You have so many people here who kind of care about that. Also know what it takes to maintain your graduate assistantship. You have information about eligibility. Read those, read the links. We have links on our homepage. There's links on the graduate student homepage about how many credits you need to maintain. You need to keep your GPA up. You fall below a 3.0, again, that's like losing your assistantship. You're putting all that at risk. So try not to get to that point. I think we are probably one of the most open, transparent environments when it comes to wanting to support our students. So let that be the case. Any questions so far? And then I'll go into the statement of mutual expectation. Did I scare anybody? I scared you? Okay. All right, so no fears. This is good. You don't need to have the fear. You just need to know that this is a serious job and that there's consequences of losing that serious job. That's why this statement of mutual expectation is important. For those of you who have done it already, what was that like? Did you sit down with your supervisor? Was it a gentle process, or did you feel like you struggled? A couple people raise their hand. Sean, Brandon. Okay, who's your supervisor? Oh yeah, she's gentle. She's a gentle soul. Yes, pretty easy. Okay, good. That's good to hear. That's good feedback to have. So this is where, and I have formal documents. We don't need to read this. It talks about the responsibility of the graduate assistantship. I, as a supervisor, have responsibilities to my graduate assistant. So those things are important. Just kind of know that. Some of the things that typically jam folks up that probably need attention are the scheduling. What does it mean that I need to work 10 hours a week? So you have those conversations, right? Do you need to work in person, or can I do my work remote? How am I logging the hours? How are you going to know and hold me accountable? How you hold your supervisor accountable? You might have a task, a deadline, and you can't reach your supervisor. Is that your fault, or is that the fault of your supervisor, right? So have those conversations, work through all those things. It's not that painful, but again, the scheduling, whether or not I'm going to be remote or in person, is very helpful. If I get sick during the semester, how does that impact my work? Like, you can make things up with assignments and classes, and you negotiate those things with your faculty members. Do the same thing with your supervisors, right? You might fall ill. You might need a week off. And if you need a week off, do I owe the university 10 hours? Some supervisors will say, yeah, because I'm tracking that. Like, I want you to still make that up. Or they might say, I just want you to do the work. right? And it's going to vary. I know how flexible I am, but everybody isn't as flexible as I am. I want you all to be healthy and whole, so I will prioritize that. I can get by without having something done. If you're a teaching assistant, that's even harder. Are you going to, you need to show up for your students. So work that out with your supervisor. Again, have those honest, open conversations. Think about best practices. Think about how you're going to develop, because we also have a responsibility to continue to develop you as young professionals. So have that relationship. I want to be able to improve. I'm working in this job. I'm taking classes. I know I'm going to get this degree, but have a rapport with your supervisor where they can kind of help you develop as young professionals. Talk about organizational culture, what kind of priorities you have, and how to resolve conflict. We have had people not getting along with their supervisors, and you know what? It's not always your fault, and I support that. So if ever there's a grievance, anything that kind of raises up, know that my default is not to say, oh my God, these students, it must be them. It can't be our faculty and staff. I will not default to that. So don't shy away from, if you have a conflict with your supervisor, don't shy away from bringing something to us, because we don't default to that. Like we will hear it out and we will figure it out. I know what's at stake for you all, so I won't default to saying, oh my God, they must be horrible. We have to pull their assistantship away from them. Again, so that's that open line of communication. Any questions about the Statement of Mutual Expectations? What's the deadline for getting them done this year?
It says 24th, which I was made aware of yesterday, but Lori and Julia could speak more to that.
Okay. So just know that there's a deadline. Be aware of that deadline. If you haven't had a conversation or interaction with your supervisor, know that that's a critical piece of something you need to do. And again, more than anything else, if any of this is ever lost on you, confusing, let us know. Don't put this assistantship at risk. You get paid, but you get more out of it. So, and I'm available for questions. I'll be here for the rest of the duration of your orientation. So thank you. Who's next? Oh, I don't need applause for that.
You always need applause.
Thank you, guys. Is it Lori?
So I just want to add very quickly that in understanding the policies, expectations, and responsibilities of your role, I have shared a number of documents with you, and again, I'm gonna keep saying it might feel overwhelming, but as Dean Harris said, this is a job and there are serious responsibilities that come with it. So please refer to these resources whenever you have a question. I want you to think of where can I go? You can go to the GA info doc, which I have shared, the SPP GA brief, graduate school policy, graduate school assistantship information. Go to these documents, go to these pages, see if they address your question or concern, and if they don't, please, please, please reach out to us. And yesterday, Melissa Calvin, Director of Graduate Studies, mentioned peer-to-peer advising. Again, we love when you talk to each other, but everybody's situation is different. If you're an international student, you have different requirements to domestic students. If you have a TA, you have some different trainings to do compared to AAs and RAs. So please make sure to reach out, and we'll try our best to answer emails quickly and clearly. So I will now pass you to our HR and payroll team, Lori and Julia, who will go through HR and payroll onboarding. Yeah. Do I just error over? You need to show something.
No, I don't think. I
I
think
have
we're
a
fine.
brief open if you want to get it.
Is this the
Yeah.
same one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Lori, and this is my coworker Julia, and I know you've been receiving emails from all of us. And what I want to reiterate, it does seem overwhelming. A lot of emails, a lot of paperwork, all the papers are different, but we're here to help you every day. And, email at any time you have questions, and, it's a little bit hectic in the beginning now. So I try to answer emails right away, but it might take another day because we're going through like all of this right now. Next week, it'll calm down a little bit. So I just I want to start off with something really positive for tomorrow is Friday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. Most of you, even though you haven't started working, if your appointment was entered in the system on time, like you had, so some people got their appointments just maybe yesterday, so they're running a little bit late. But most of you had your appointments in the system and approved, and you'll receive a paycheck tomorrow. So you haven't worked a day, but you will start to get paid tomorrow.
See me.
And you'll come and see Julia. So I want to go over paychecks because I know that's like one of the first things that you guys are thinking about. Everybody's filling out direct deposit forms to give us. I want you to know that the state, we're state employees. You are now a state of Maryland employee. They take a very long time in processing any paperwork, any payroll paperwork, whether it's your W-4 or your direct deposit, because when it goes to the state handles all state employees. So it's not just us, it's not just University of Maryland, it's all over. So you'll hand in your direct deposit. It probably will not take effect. You will not see it in your bank for maybe a month. It could even be a little bit longer, but just be sure you will always get paid. You will get a paper check until then, okay? So every Friday morning that we're getting paid, and it's every 2 weeks, so tomorrow's the first one, and then in 2 weeks, it'll be another Friday. If on a Friday morning, about a month from now, you know it's payday and you don't receive an email from me, hey, you have a paycheck to pick it up with Julia, check your bank, because that means that direct deposit has hit. There's no way for us to track your direct deposit. If I called the state, they would not answer. We don't know. So just you hand in your forms, we do the best that we can do. But that's a positive. So most of you tomorrow will be getting your biweekly. Your GA stipend is a stipend. It's not an hourly appointment. So you're always going to get the same amount. And you do not have to fill in timesheets for that appointment. If your supervisor wants you to keep a timesheet between the two of you, that's something that you guys will do on your own with them on an outside system, not in Workday. Okay? Any questions about paychecks? Yes. Uh-huh. No, the stipend, that's what you get paid for tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see. So payroll processing and pay. Handing in your paperwork is key. If you don't have all the information for like your tax forms, we are not tax experts and we are actually not allowed to advise you. So if you want to hold on to your W-4 or whatever your payroll, your tax paperwork is for a couple of days until you can reach out to somebody who will know like how many exemptions you should do or file jointly or not. Don't worry about that. Like talk to somebody who knows and then hand in your paperwork, okay? It will not delay you getting paid. Okay. Billing and tuition remission, that's not really my thing, but what I can tell you is you will start to get a bill if you have not already. Your tuition remission might not be reflected yet if your appointment kind of got in the system late. GAs have a grace period. They do not tell you this. Like you can't go to the registrar or the billing office, whatever, and they're going to say, oh, you're a GA, you have a grace period. But you do have a grace period. I don't know exactly how many days it is, but as we are putting your appointments in the system, right? And going through that whole process, and it's not just Julia and I, we put it in and then it goes all over the campus for different approvals. At the same time that's happening, they're billing you. So like all of these things are happening and it's not really simultaneously. So there is a chance you will see a bill and you're like, where's my tuition remission? It will happen, I promise you. If you have a bill that has other things on it, like your student activities fee, or if you had a parking pass or whatever, pay those things, okay? Just hold off on your tuition remission, you know, if you see that it hasn't posted yet, you know, you see a bill, but your credit's not there, just don't pay it yet. And reach out to me if you have a question about that, okay? Yes.
Also, the tuition mission is only activated once I enter your payroll appointment. So the people who appointment enter late will see the bill, but the tuition remission will only come in later.
Yeah. And they shouldn't, if they charge you a late fee, and then it's because we don't have your appointment in on time,
They could waive it.
they will waive it, but you have to let us know.
Yeah.
So please let us know, because we know that we weren't, you know, not everybody is in on time. Yes, Brandon.
Your appointment is for a year, but your position as a T, this T is a bi-semester, it's for this fall semester, and then in spring, we'll find you or match you into a new TA position. But your appointment is in the system for 1 year. So that applies to all Ts. TAs are a bit different because we do it semester by semester. You'll match, but your appointment is to be for a year. Correct.
Yeah, if you have a new supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. You'll have to fill out like new payroll paperwork for a new year. Well, no, so next summer. Well, yeah, 2027 is next year. We'll just wait till next year because things change. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, health insurance. So we're very lucky. As a GA, you have the ability to enroll in health insurance if you need it. Some people already have their health insurance. Some people that are, you know, younger than 26 are still on their parents. That's great. So you have the ability, though, if you need insurance, to enroll in the exact same health care that all of us up here as staff enroll in, okay? Which is, it's
Cheaper.
It's much cheaper, and it's just a great benefit. You will have like 5 choices to choose from. But let me just say, you probably have not gotten an email yet from the state. So we don't push that email out from the state saying, oh, you know, this is a life event or this is a new job. You have the ability now to enroll. So in the next couple of weeks, please look for, if you want to get the insurance, please look for an email from the state of Maryland. I don't get it. Julia doesn't get it. So I've heard that it could look like spam or, you know, a phishing email. Yes. Okay. Well, no. Okay. So here's the thing, just what Lynn Marie said. Everybody's different. So thank you. You got yours. Not everybody will have gotten there. So even though you're all GAs, it's apples and oranges, really. So once you get it,
You have 30 days.
you have,
They give you a deadline.
they give you a deadline. So once you get it, the link to enroll, and you're interested in doing it, please, even if you are not ready to make the choices, because there are going to be a lot of choices and a lot of, you know, it tells you all the rates and everything. Create an account. Just go in and create an account. And you don't have to make that choice that day of what you want to choose. And the reason is, if you don't make that account within 24 hours, the link expires and you have to request another link. So all you have to do is go and create the account and say, oh, I can do this weekend. I don't need to do it today. Because requesting a link, it has to go through the service center and then they have to send you a link. It's just, it adds on. Your start date, and this is really important for anybody who wants insurance, your start date in our system, okay, is August 9th. You don't need to remember that for anything else. but you started for payroll on August 9th. You have 60 days from August 9th to enroll in healthcare. So let's say October 9th, but really push it back a little bit. You definitely don't want to try to make your choices on October 9th or even 8th. I would just set a little tickler, you know, a timer for yourself. Make your choices, and that those GA fees, health fees will come out of your paycheck. Your health care is effective September 1st. Another thing is you have to waive the SHIP, the student health insurance, if you want to use our insurance. To waive it, you can upload. So if you have other health insurance right now, you're on somebody else's plan, you upload that to SHIP. If you don't have anything else, upload your GA letter, your assignment letter. They've been taking that as proof that you're going to get insurance. Make sure you waive on time because it's over $1,000 that will show up on your bill.
It's a 2,000.
2,000, okay.
2,000.
Okay.
And they're gonna take it.
Yeah, they'll take it. And then, I mean, you can appeal, you can do what you need to do, but if you just waive it, you won't have those problems. Okay. All I can say is our health benefits, there's a lot of choices. It's all done online. It used to be that you would come in my office, sit, we make the choices, send it in. Everything's done online. And I'm just going to say that I've been here 24 years. I've never had a problem with the insurance. And it's going to be the exact same that you will have the opportunity to get. Okay? Any questions about health benefits? Yes. Totally different. It's handled by the health center, a separate vendor. I think it's for the whole year. We will have open enrollment. So let's say you didn't choose your health insurance now, okay? But I recommend that you do if you're using it. We will have open enrollment from like mid-October. We don't know the dates yet, but it's like mid-October to like the second week in November. And that's when you can, if you have the insurance from here and you don't like, you chose, you know, United Concordia or something, and you wanted Delta, you wanted something else. Those are the times that you can make those changes, and it's also the time that you can pick up the insurance.
Also, when you get the health insurance, even though your appointment ends in, say, end of May, June, you're covered all the way through August.
No, June 30th. Oh, if they're
No, when the term, but they take off enough stipend.
Yeah.
Enough payment to cover you all the way through the summer.
Yeah.
Your health insurance covers you through the whole summer.
Yeah.
Until when the fall semester starts, then this.
Yeah, and then if you come back, and you're keeping everything the same, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you're terminating in June, your insurance, like if you graduate, which probably not in this room, but.
Right, but if you graduate, they give you back.
Yeah. Okay, but that's further down the road. And I will be honest with you, health insurance stuff typically doesn't change, but you never know. But it will be up to us to tell you about any changes with the health insurance, okay? You might get emails, you know, from the university, but it's up to us to like let you know, hey, this is happening, okay?
Environment terms.
Appointment terms, I think we're fine. Statement of mutual expectations, Dr. Harris went over. Okay.
The expiration dates.
Oh, yes.
Some students said they got a notification, a task from Ripley saying that it is due by August 24th.
Well, most with Workday now, the day I process the appointment and it's approved and that notice go out, they all have a expect date for it to be completed. The same thing with the I-9. If it's not completed by then, the link is no longer valid. And you'll have to request a new link. The same way with the I-9. Well, I guess the supervisor, because Lori, you'll have to, like with the I-9, you always have to request a new link, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it's done.
Yeah, there,
Have you done it?
Mhm.
right. And I, I heard
Mhm.
that was incorrect.
With
but
expected
the-
date.
Yeah, the date, because
I think it's just an automatic. give
yeah,
us the
it's an
date.
automatic. Workday is our
Yeah.
new like payroll system, and there's a lot of issues with it, and we're ironing them
Yeah.
out. Well, not us, but Candace is ironing them out. And there's dates that they will have in there that it makes you think things have to be done. And the statement of mutual expectations is one. And then also, a task got pushed out by Workday for financial disclosure to some people
People.
and not all.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake. But we don't know about those mistakes until somebody says, hey, what's
Mhm.
this financial disclosure? Why do I have to fill that out? And I got like 3 in one day. So I reached out to
And the
the,
flex thing too.
flexible,
Yeah,
flexible.
that's another thing too.
Work-
That's something new they push out to the students.
That's something, yeah. So we don't know about these things until you tell us. So please, if you see something kind of weird, like the financial disclosure, there's no reason that you have to do that. But I'm not a GA, so I don't get that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. So if you see something wonky, please let us know and we'll reach out. Because you can ignore some of them, but I'd rather you tell us.
Because she has her
Oh,
hands up.
either, go ahead. So your supervisor, no, just one, the supervisor? Yeah, there's no,
Mhm.
yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
Because the 18th of August, is that what it says?
yeah.
Yeah, there's no way that, yeah.
Because last year we had a lot of late people, and when we reach out to the supervisors, they were able to do it.
Yeah, they were
Like,
able to do it. And if your supervisor can't for whatever reason, just tell them to reach out to us.
mhm,
Yeah, don't worry about it.
mhm.
Yeah. You're next. Go ahead.
No.
No,
And what I noticed, if the people who are getting that, they either have a current appointment on campus that is going to
Another-
be, yeah, expires soon. So those, I think, were the people who were getting that.
yeah, not everybody's getting them.
Yeah.
Not everybody's getting them. And if you can skip it, go ahead and skip it. And again, if I find out that you have to do those, we'll send an email out to
Yeah.
everybody. But it's not going to impact your pay or your benefits or your tuition remission. Just know that. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Some people did not get the notification on Workday last year. And so I created a Google form.
Oh,
Mhm.
So
right.
if you're having trouble with Workday, the Google form is where you upload your essence so that we have record.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's for people who have trouble on Workday. So if you did get okay,
Yeah.
so maybe you didn't get a task from Workday.
Yeah. And we don't know what, yeah. Yes. It's, so for your graduate assistantship, there's no logging of hours. You are going to get the same stipend. We are going to assume that you worked your hours, right?
Mm.
And you're going to get paid the same every bi-weekly.
Mhm.
So no logging. If you have, if your supervisor wants to keep record of hours, that's on you guys and you just do it outside of the system. I'm just going to say that I know this is for GAs only, but some of you may have hourly positions, either in our college or in another department, hourly. Those you have to log into Workday, keep hours, right? And have your supervisor approve it, because you will, hourly appointments, you will only get paid by an approved timesheet. But as a GA, no, you don't have to do times. There's no ability to do a timesheet. Oh, that's right. So yes, you do. But if you click that GA, it's not going to let you, there's no way to do hours. But if you pull the drop down and you go to your hourly appointment, then you can enter your hours. And I don't like that it shows the both because it's very confusing, but. No, and I'm glad thank you for saying that. Your paycheck, no matter how many jobs you have on campus, one paycheck. And they're not very good about line items, so I don't know that it says, this is your GA stipend, $500, whatever. This is your hourly appointment for 10 hours at $10. No, I don't think it says that. So I would just
The
think,
workday pay stub, wouldn't do that, but if you go to the old POSC
oh, yeah.
pay stub, yes. So
Yeah.
if you have other jobs on campus, we can show you, give you that link. I think that link is on the website, the POSC link.
Online service center.
Yes, right. That pay stub there will show you the breakdown
Yeah,
better.
but your actual workday, no,
No.
will not show you. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you don't have to do it.
No.
It was not supposed to be pushed out. That's okay. Okay, so Julia's going to go over some international student things, and then I'll just open the floor for any more questions, and then we will be here all day today. So,
Okay. Before I go into that, I want to emphasize on the payroll forms. Now, for taxes and so forth, your paycheck you're receiving, they will take out the maximum tax since there were no forms turned in as yet. So you may see whatever your, usually they do not take a lot of taxes out for grad students, but they still will take out, I think, federal taxes. But once we turn in your tax forms, which is important, which we're going to be receiving today, and you'll see the difference. So that would be the just those deductions. Okay. And also the direct deposit form. We understand that there were a glitch in the form.
oh yeah, sorry, like one of the links for the direct deposit didn't work, and we didn't know that until a lot of people came in today with handwritten
Yeah.
forms. That is the only payroll form that cannot be handed in handwritten. It needs to
Yes.
be, you type it in, and we're going to send you another link. If you need it, you can email us and we'll send you another link, but you're going to type the whole thing in
Mhm.
and do not sign it, print it, and then sign it with a pen. And another thing before Julia goes on, I'm sorry, all payroll paperwork, whether it's your tax forms or direct deposit, don't send them through email to me because we can only hand in originals. So a lot of people
The
send
first
them
forms.
as, oh, I filled it out, here it is. I'm going to write you back and just say it has to be original. So you can do the originals when you can. I have a lockbox outside of my office. If I'm not there, you don't have to make an appointment with me. You can put them in there. I will reply to you as soon as I get them. Hey, I got your paperwork. And then I send it to central payroll. Or you can stop by, or you can mail it to the address at the bottom of the form. It's up to you.
Not even computer signature.
Yeah, no computer.
The state could pick that up too, and they will reject it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So international forms. F1, J1, I-94 must have all those in order to process any international forms. Also, with the new changes effective September 15th, they will be using the I-94 as your start and end date. The people who came in, whatever date on your F1 or J1, that's the date. So they wouldn't have the luxury of using the 8-9 start date. Lori and I, we had a discussion that we were going to try to see if we discuss with Lynn Marie and they to see if we can get their supervisor probably to you get an hourly appointment or something to make up for that week or 2 weeks salary. Discuss that later.
Until September, so it really, I guess, won't affect this group of people.
Yeah.
just,
There's certain groups of people who came in, and because of the new immigration law, we had to start them like a week or two. We have to go with the date that's on their paperwork.
yeah, so
Okay.
just know that in the administration, like when things happen about like foreign students, you know, whatever, that it does apply here too.
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't happen till September 15th. You're all in the system. It's fine. But just so you know that anything that's happening federally, we have to be in compliance.
So it will also affect, I guess, when your tuition and everything comes in. So you may see that all that late also in your account. Travel. Some of you may want to travel and go back home for Christmas and Easter or next summer. I urge you to deeply consider that, or make sure you check with ISSS, because we are having issues with having students being allowed back in when they leave. So it's high risk going back on vacation once you get to, even though you may have a 4-year visa. Okay. Also, Social Security. You have 14 days upon arrival to get, or you are issued a temporary Social Security number, which is being used for you to get payroll. That is also being used for your taxes. You have 14 days upon arrival to get a real Social Security number. You can come by the office. We will type up a letter, a statement showing your income, because you need that to take to the Social Security place also. The reason why I emphasize that, because at the end of the year, you file taxes, and you do not want to file taxes on the temporary Social Security number, because you'll get one, when you do eventually get your real Social Security number, you may have part of your money on the real Social Security, part on the temporary Social Security. And you won't be able to, you may end up losing money. So the earlier you get the real social is better for you. Once you get it, you need to bring us that social, and then we make the change in the system. The temporary number is only to be used within the University of Maryland, nowhere else. Not for banking or any other type of business. You have anything else you want to emphasize on?
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, like I said, we will be here. If you handed in documents that need to be returned to you, like your passport or any other identifying documents, Melody was out there making copies. I'm not sure that she's gotten everybody done by your break time, but believe me, we are not going to walk away with your documents. Just make sure you come back and see us. I sit on the 3rd floor, and Julia for now is on the 1st floor. Okay, so at any point today, you can stop by, ask questions, because I think as the day goes on, we might have more questions, you know? And also we are going to try to send you, and if anybody still needs to do the direct deposit, we're going to try to send you a new link that you can do it. If you do not have a printer, just come to us with it filled out.
You can
and then
email it to us.
We can
and
print
we'll
it out
print it.
for you and give it to you to sign, and then you can give it back. Okay?
Also, anytime after 11 tomorrow, you can come pick up your paycheck.
Yes, thank you, Julia. So tomorrow, we went from over the summer, we went from Julia having to pick up from one of the buildings on campus, maybe 30 paychecks or so. Well, tomorrow, because it's the start of the semester, so the faculty are coming back and getting paid. Most of you are getting a paycheck tomorrow. She went from having like 30 checks to pick up to probably 100 to pick up tomorrow. So usually paycheck pickup time starts at 10 in the morning. Tomorrow, we'd like to push it till 11, because picking them up from another building, there's going to be a line out the door for Julia to have to
Yeah.
pick them up. And then in that email that you get every Friday, every other Friday, I just want you to know, it will tell you where to go to pick up the check. Let's say Julia's not here that day. That doesn't mean you're not getting paid. She will have handed off your paychecks to somebody else who's allowed to hold on the paychecks. You can pick up your paycheck, not just that Friday. In my first year here, I guess I let people think that they could only pick up their paycheck that Friday. No, you can pick it up that
Any
Friday
day.
and then any day the following week within like certain hours, but it'll all be in the email.
Also, we do not hold checks.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna hold them for 2 pay period. After that, they'll be gone. Send
Yeah.
them back. Send them back to central payroll and they'll figure out how they get it. Because some people let their checks stay and because the checks has expiration date and it costs to have a reissued check is a fee to, and the department have to eat that cost.
So make sure in Workday that your address is updated, is your payroll address, because you have the ability on those Fridays, when I say you have a paycheck, if you don't want to come to campus, you can't come to campus. It will say in the email, if you'd like your check mailed to you, no problem, send
I'll
Julia
mail it
your
here.
mailing address, right?
Mhm.
Because your mailing address might not be the same as what is on that check because you have moved, right? And so that's why
Mhm.
we realized this during COVID when people moved all over the place and, 2 weeks they were here, a month they were here. We were sending checks out to the address that was there and we were getting them all back. And it cost the university, we get kind of pinged on that or whatever, dinged. And so now it's like, you have to ask us and give us your
An
address.
address.
And even if it's this, we have a gentleman who picks up his paycheck, has his paycheck mailed every other week. And every other week he sends us his address because we won't send it if you just say, hey, send it to the address you sent it to last time. No, it just takes a second, put your address. And especially if it's like winter break and you're still getting paychecks, you might want it sent somewhere else. So just be mindful of that. And we can't hold
But
on to checks.
we still prefer direct deposit.
Yeah, direct deposit, but it does take a long time. We know that. But we can't hold on to checks. Like, yeah, yes.
Question.
Will you get something saying that it took, that it's,
But it took when you don't get an email saying to pick up your check.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I wish they did, but they don't do that. And we cannot call and say, hey, where's Lori Gainey's direct deposit form? It's been 3 months. I don't know, somebody's sitting at a desk with like thousands of pieces of paper to enter. Yeah. Okay, I think, what's our
We done?
timing? Turb tax, okay. We are not tax experts. We are not allowed to give advice, although I would love to be able to tell you what to do. But I will not. I had somebody yesterday look at me like, what? You won't tell me what to do? Absolutely will not. So there is, it's on here somewhere.
The grad school. Yeah. The grad school offered a service.
Okay, so the grad school offers a service, the business school, the business
Sorry,
school.
the
The Smith
school.
School, they have TURP tax, provides free tax preparation services. There's a link for it. Definitely check them out. I've heard it's really good, and you did? Okay, yeah, and as an international. Okay, because I send international students to this link all the time. So definitely take advantage of that if you don't have somebody else that you can ask.
Appointments go quickly, so keep it on your radar.
Yeah.
When you start hearing things about the course and you're like, what? Should I do something? Go make an appointment using this thing.
Yeah. Okay, health insurance statement, mandatory optional change. Okay, I think
So
that's it. Okay, again, we're here Yes. In Workday. You actually will see an online pay slip. Yeah. I'm sorry, yes. But
And
you,
if you need guidance on how to find your pays, I can send you the instructions.
yeah, it's in Workday, sorry, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can send instructions how to find it in Workday and in the POSC
Yeah,
How
the
to print the pay
Search
stubs.
Center is a
Mhm.
great,
resource.
great resource. You can go in there and change your, like, if you're like, oh.
Change of address.
Change of address.
change of bank,
Yeah, anything.
like
You
that.
can do it
Mhm.
online. Except international students cannot use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, international students cannot use it.
Mhm.
That might change too. Yes. Yes. Yeah, UMD. And just keep looking for, if you want to use it, keep looking for it, okay? You will get it. And let's just say that it's a month from now and you haven't gotten it.
Check your spam.
Check spam, whatever, and then just email one of us and I can like put a ticket into benefits and just, I mean, I can't push it out, but I can just say, hey, do you see something going on that this person did not receive it? Most likely it's gone to your spam or you deleted it by mistake, because I wish they made it. I don't know what it says. If anybody has the original email that they got from the state, I would like, if you could forward that to me so I could see, you said you got your email from the state for the benefits?
Pay health insurance.
If you can do me a favor, can you just email me like what that looked like? Because I don't know what it looks like to tell people. Just forward me the email, like, yeah. Okay, thank you. I always want to say that to somebody and I forget to say that. Okay, so we're here. Yes.
Oh, God.
Like the link has expired. Okay. Send me an email and I will send you the instructions how to get a new link. But if you create your account, you don't have to pick your benefits yet. If you just create that account within 24 hours, your link is good. But if you let it sit there for over 24 hours, which I know it's not cool, but there's nothing we can do about it. Yes. $8 hours? Okay, and you were able to put the ticket in because last year we had to put it. So you were able? Okay.
Mm.
And you did it.
Okay. So
Okay.
he might be able to
So
take it.
you'll be able to do a ticket like she said. So that, okay. Can you still? Okay. See, it wasn't like that last year, which was the first year that we used Workday. Can you just forward me that email?
So he might be able to try it again.
Yeah. No, not the ticket. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Again, we'll be out there and we'll be in my office. Julia will be here as well. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So good.
Thank you all.
Everybody. Have a great semester.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we are on time for our break, but before that, I also want to emphasize the training that TAs have to do. So there's mandatory TA training, which is in your brief, and you have to do it by September 11th. And also, if you are a TA or an AA who needs access to UMD's student system, so you're dealing with sensitive student information, you need to do FERPA training. And then there's also optional training for TAs happening tomorrow at the TLTC, which is a Teaching and Learning Center here on campus. Any questions? Yes. No, it's not required, but we encourage you. The only required training is the online. Yeah. Okay, so yes. If it's still valid, you will not have to redo it. So check to see if it's valid, and I think the system won't allow you to do it if you've already done it. Yeah. So we are gonna take a 15-minute break now for some of you to either submit your documents or collect your documents, and then we come back in for the Title IX training, which everyone has to do. After that, we have the ELMS training, only for TAs. So that part, if you're not a TA, you don't have to stay for the last training. Thank you. Got everyone back. Hi, everyone. It's 10:15, and we are going to restart our program for Title IX training. We are here with Karina Escobar from the Office of Civil Rights and Sexual Misconduct, and she would be taking us through the Title IX training. So let's welcome Karina. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Is everyone awake? Good morning. Good morning. All right, great. So my name is Karina Escobar. I'm the program manager for policy and prevention training within the Office of Civil Rights and Sexual Misconduct. But before we begin, I do want to give a content warning. The content being addressed today may be sensitive in nature, so please feel free to step out of the room. And if you would like to have a private discussion with me afterwards, I'll be outside for an extra 5 minutes after the presentation is over. So just an overview on our office. I'm going to call it OCRSM because the title is just too long. But we administer the University of Maryland's non-discrimination policies, and we work to foster a working and learning environment free from all forms of discrimination and harassment, including sexual misconduct. So both of these policies here at the university follow the anti-discrimination laws such as Title VI and Title VII, as well as Title IX. Here at the university, we don't call it Title IX, we just call it the Policy on Sexual Harassment and Other Sexual Misconduct. But we appropriately address all reports that come into our office, whether it is regarding discrimination or harassment, including sexual misconduct. Anything that is involving students, staff, or faculty, even visitors, we address it here at the university, and our office specifically addresses all of those reports. We also provide supportive measures for students, staff, and faculty here at the university if they would like some supportive measures. So some of these supportive measures may look like housing accommodations, academic extensions, academic accommodations, even a medical withdrawal from classes. We could possibly change your class or work schedule as well. It really depends on the situation at hand and the report that our office receives. So just an overview on our policy. The first one is the non-discrimination policy and procedure. This goes in depth on that discrimination and harassment. So discrimination is defined as the unequal treatment based on a person's characteristic or status. So an example of this could look like unfair hiring practices for a graduate assistantship based on or that targets one's characteristic or status. Whereas harassment is unwelcome conduct, and it's unwelcome conduct whether it be verbal, physical, or even online conduct. So online could be social media posts, text messages, things on Discord, things of that nature. We also view those things as well, and we get reports of that as well. So that is just unwelcome conduct based on a person's characteristic or status. So if a student is receiving comments, jokes that targets one's characteristic or status, that is prohibited under this policy. Any questions? Okay. The next policy is the policy on sexual harassment and other sexual misconduct, which follows Title IX. This is just prohibited conduct under that policy. And here at the university, we have it in two separate buckets. We have the first one as other sexual misconduct, so sexual coercion, sexual exploitation, sexual intimidation, attempted sexual assault, and then other sex-based offenses. Whereas the other bucket is just under sexual harassment. So it goes in depth on that kind of sexual assaults, dating, domestic violence, stalking. We also have seen reports of stalking, not only that what we see in movies and TV shows, but also stalking with people making numerous email accounts, trying to contact you via email, or trying to make numerous social media accounts, trying to follow you on Instagram, things of that nature. That is also a form of stalking here at the university. And then of course we have quid pro quo or hostile environments. Does everyone know what quid pro quo means? Yeah, would you like to say? I saw some head, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like a this for that. So in a textbook example, we always like to say is if a faculty says, hey, go on a date with me, kiss me on the cheek, and I'll give you an A for the final exam. That is an example of what that may look like, quid pro quo, but it's not only with a faculty student, it could be colleagues, coworkers, so on and so forth. Next, we have hostile environments. So this is just an environment that is so severe, pervasive, and repetitive in nature that it affects someone's ability to continue their educational program or activities here at the University of Maryland. So this could look like someone making repeated sexual jokes, comments, even touching, that ends up leading the student to no longer come to class, or even miss work, which then leads them to have a poor work and academic performance here at the university. So that's kind of how we look at hostile environment under this policy. So where does this policy apply to? This policy applies everywhere here at the university, even if students go on a conference out of state, if they study abroad, out of the country. This policy follows them, and we try to assist these students with as much resources as possible. It also is with staff and faculty as well, even visitors who come to the university. This past summer, there was a lot of campers under the age of 18 here. Those students, even though they aren't UMD students, this policy also covered them as well. Just because they were here at the university, they were doing university-sponsored events. Next, we have policies that prohibit retaliation. So this is just actions taken against an individual because they either reported or filed a complaint of discrimination or harassment, or they participated in an investigation or proceeding related to a harassment complaint. So this could look like intimidation, threats, coercion, discrimination, so on and so forth. So we have policies that prohibit this. And when a complainant comes meet with us, when a respondent comes meet with us, we tell them that we do have policies that prohibit this and this cannot happen. Next, we have the amnesty provision, which is directly under that Title IX policy. So this is if a student who reports prohibited conduct to either law enforcement or to the university will not face disciplinary action if there were drugs or alcohol involved. So the reason why we have this is because we want students to feel comfortable doing that report, coming to our office and telling us all the full details of what is happening during the incident, even if drugs and alcohol were involved. So this will not be on their student record, but we just want all the details of what was reported so we know exactly who was there, what was taken in terms of drugs and alcohol, so we all know the full details. Any questions? Okay. All right, next, you all are TAs, right? Graduate assistants? Yes? All GAs? Perfect. So you all are responsible university employees. Does anyone know what that is? No? Okay, great. So responsible university employees, or RUEs, this is probably the most important part of this PowerPoint that you all should be aware of. What does this mean? This means that you are required to notify the Title IX coordinator when they become aware of any type of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct. It is not your role to investigate. It is not your role to find out more details. However, if a student does disclose to you, whether it be in person, whether it be through a paper, you have to notify our office as soon as possible. And you also have to let the student know that you are an RUE, because it is up to them to decide if they want to continue telling you exactly what happened, or if they want to stop and no longer disclose the information. If a student does decide that they no longer want to disclose information because they find out that you are not a confidential resource, that is totally fine. You do not have to pressure them to continue speaking to you. You could just let them know that this is your responsibility, that you do have to report this to OCRSM, and then you could provide them with resources such as the counseling center, the health center, and CARE. And those are some confidential resources here at the university. So just the key takeaways, why do you have to report to our office? It just provides consistent, constant, prompt, and equitable response from our office. This also has an increased oversight of sexual misconduct here at the university and how we respond to those reports of sexual misconduct. This also identifies patterns of misconduct, not of specific individuals who may need to be investigated or who may need assistance from our office. And also this just gives them access to the resources, as I mentioned before. And there's a difference between those confidential versus private resources. So as you all are mandatory reporters, information is reported to the Title IX coordinator and potentially need to know resources who can provide support or access to options. And we always like to say information is reported up, not out. Our office only contacts the folks we need to contact. We keep we keep it as private as possible. And then you all are not confidential resources. Your role really is to connect students with the resources and the appropriate university channels. And then of course, by doing this, we are compliant with federal law. So just prompt reporting allows the institution to fulfill its obligation under federal Title IX policy and respond appropriately to all reports of sex-based discrimination and sexual misconduct here at the university. So responding to a disclosure, let's say a student does disclose to you that they had an incident of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct. You first want to ensure that they are safe and feel supported. If the student is in danger, of course, the first thing that you should be doing is calling UMPD or calling 911. And then of course, making that report after. You want to offer choices and options, and you want to let them know that you're here to support them. You want to also thank them for trusting you. Acknowledge the courage it takes for them to share this information with you. And you also want to thank them for trusting you with this information. It takes a lot for a student to open up and tell you exactly what happens to them. And then of course, explain your duty to report. You don't want to keep this a secret. A lot of folks put this in their syllabus, letting students know that they are an RUE. So you want to explain the limit of your confidentiality. You want to let them decide how much or how little to share. And then of course, refer them to OCRSM. You can mention our office. You can mention that they could also make a report as well. However, if the student does make a report, you still have to make a report yourself as well. There have been times where an RUE submits a report to our office and then the complainant also submits a report. That's totally fine. The more reports, the better, we always say. And then of course, yeah.
If you're not a teacher, you're an administrative assistant,
Yep.
I'm still an R.
Yes.
What if you're a research assistant?
Doesn't matter. You're still an RUE. Yeah, it really doesn't matter what position you are. And we always like to say, even if you're not an RUE, I think the best thing to do is still encourage the student to report it to our office, because you may not know they may need resources that we could provide them with. And I'll go a little bit more in depth in that later. And then of course you want to connect them to resources. We do have some confidential resources here at the university. CARE is one of them. CARE specifically works with sexual assault survivors, so they're a really great resource here at the university. And then we have, of course, the counseling center, the health center, and then other campus resources as well. So this is a sample script that our office created in case RUEs are not really sure what to say or what to do when a student does disclose this information for you. So this is just available on our website, and we have a bunch of other resources on our website as well for your position as an RUE on kind of what next steps may look like. I always like to say, if you're an RUE and a student does disclose this to you and you're still unsure what to do, always tell a professor, a faculty member, or your supervisor. They also know exactly what to do as well in their role as an RUE. So this is the reporting form that we have on our website. We have two different reporting forms, both the sexual misconduct and the discrimination. This is located on our website at ocrsm.umd.edu. But you could also visit us. We are located in Susquehanna Hall. You could call us during business hours, or you could email Title IX coordinator at umd.edu. That directly goes to the Title IX coordinator's email as well. So now we're going to go into the process of kind of what a report looks like here and what our office does on the back ends. So once a report is submitted to OCRSM, it's then reviewed by the Title IX coordinator. She determines if the incident involves possible Title IX or policy violations. She assesses threat to involved parties, community, and immediate safety needs, and she collaborates with campus partners on a need-to-know basis. Now, what does that mean? That means that if she gets a report at 11 p.m., midnight, and it's involving two roommates, and there is a safety concern there, she most likely will call Res Life at 11 p.m. at night, at midnight, letting them know that these students need to be separated. There have been incidents at 3 a.m. in the morning where Res Life has removed students from dorm rooms and have moved them into different housing locations. So we work very closely with other resources here at the university and other departments as well. Then the individual will 100% receive an email from our intake manager. This email will just have information about the policy, about our office, and then some supportive measures. It's also an invitation to meet with the intake manager. We always like to say it's an invitation. Students, staff, faculty are not mandated to meet with us. They're not obligated to meet with us. They're not required to meet with us. Sometimes we send that first email. We never receive a response from students, and that's totally fine. After a week, we'll probably reach out again saying, hey, just to follow up, we received this report. We want to know if you want to discuss more information. Sometimes students say, I don't want to talk to your office, and that's totally fine. We don't get offended. But some students are like, okay, yes, I would like to talk. We could schedule that meeting through Zoom, in person, or via call. Some students even say, hey, I'm really busy. It's midterm season, it's final season. Can I chat with you next fall semester, next spring semester, or even in the summer? That's fine too. Our intake manager will take a note of that and she'll reach out to the student whenever they would like, whether it be next fall, next summer, or in the spring semester. Now, if the student does want to meet with our intake manager, there's a few different ways to go about it. Sometimes folks want to contact law enforcement and seek a protective order. We could help with that. Sometimes they don't live on campus, they live in a different town, and they need resources for off campus. That's fine, we could provide that as well. Some students just want these supportive measures, so we could provide that. So that could be a housing relocation. We could place a no contact order. So what is a no contact order? That means that the two individuals can no longer speak at UMD campus. And this no contact order is placed by the Office of Student Conduct. We could also change your class or work schedule if possible. We could provide academic support, your change of parking location, and even a medical withdrawal from classes. These are individualized services, and it really, really depends on the report we receive and what the student needs. Now, if the student does want to file a formal complaint, it is really up to the students if they want to make it that next step or they want to go to that next step. There's two different ways to go about it. Both informally and formally. So the informal resolution is a much shorter process. It's agreed upon remedies by both parties, both the complainant and the respondents. And sometimes it's handled by a written impact statement. Sometimes it's handled by an educational conversation. But that's kind of pretty much how it is done informally. Now, if it's done in a formal resolution, this is a much, much longer process. Our Title IX investigators will get involved. They'll speak with both the complainant, both the complainants, the respondents, and even witnesses, if there were witnesses involved. They'll gather evidence, so that could be text messages, videos, screenshots, camera footage, whatever it may be, both from the complainant and the witness, and they'll write up a report. That report will then go to a live hearing with a cross-examination at the end. Usually this cross-examination ends with the report from the hearing officer. Sometimes there's no policy violation. Sometimes there's a termination if there's a faculty or a staff member involved, or sometimes there's a suspension involved if there's a student. It really, really depends on the situation and what the hearing officer decides at the end of that. But once the individuals do receive that report, there is an opportunity to appeal at the end of it. But that is kind of what the process looks like. That formal resolution, as I mentioned, it's a much, much longer process. Sometimes it takes up to months. It really depends on the response rate of the complainant, the respondents, how many times they want to meet with the investigators, and how long it takes our investigators to write that report. Any questions? Okay. So as I mentioned before, there's a difference between confidentiality and privacy. Our office really makes every effort to operate with discretion and maintain the privacy of individuals involved in our process and with our office. We also let students know, especially if they want to go that formal resolution route, kind of what the timeline looks like. When we receive a report from students, they'll most likely get an email from our intake manager in a day or two. But if they want to go into that formal resolution, we let them know that it won't be resolved in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. It may take longer. So students are aware of how long that process may look like with their office. It also depends the time of school year, how many reports we have in our office. It really, really depends. But students and faculty, staff members are aware every step of the way of kind of where we are at in that process. But we also discuss with students these confidential resources, such as the Counseling Center, FSAP. So FSAP is the Faculty Staff Assistance Program. These are just for professional staff here at the university. We also have the Legal Aid Office, Campus Chaplains, and as well as the Health Center. So we provide these resources to students as well. So as I mentioned before, there are different ways to report to our office. We have both the sexual harassment and sexual misconduct reporting form on our website, as well as the discrimination report form. Now, I do want to emphasize the difference of those two. As an RUE, you're only mandated to report any type of sexual harassment or sexual misconduct. You are not mandated to report any form of discrimination or anything you receive around that. Now, I always like to say, as an RUE, you're always encouraged to report if if you do receive a student disclosing that they have experienced discrimination, I always say it's better to do it than not do it. But the only difference between both of these is that if an individual wants to submit a report of discrimination, they have a 90-day time limit. So what does that mean? They have a 90-day time limit from the last incident occurred. So we've had reports of discrimination happening over a year, even 7 years span. But sometimes folks are like, okay, I'm ready to report this. It's 90 days from the last incident. So if I experience discrimination today, I have from now up until 90 days to submit that report to our office. Whereas OCRSM is different. Sometimes we have received reports of a student who experienced sexual harassment or sexual misconduct even before they were a UMD student here. Let's say it happened during high school, elementary school, whatever it may be. They could submit that report to our office and we can try to provide supportive measures. Now, we may not be able to do an investigation. It really depends on the situation, but we could try to provide these resources to these students. And then next, like I said, you could come to our office, you could call us, or you could email us as well. So like I said before, we have these supportive measures. I really like to emphasize these because we really try our best to accommodate what students need and what they're looking for to better remedy the issue that they're dealing with. And really these services are just offered to restore or preserve access back to the university, back to their classes, if they work here, back to what they're doing here at the university. And filing a formal complaint or going through that formal resolution process is not required to receive supportive measures. And this is available to all parties, both the complainant and the respondent in our process. So sometimes a student submits a report and they're like, I just want supportive measures. That's fine. We could just provide them with these supportive measures and that's it. Next, we also have resources for students who are pregnant or have any conditions related to their pregnancy. So if a student just gave birth, if they had a miscarriage, we provide them with these resources and accommodations. This is just so they're allowed to continue participating in classes and extracurricular activities while pregnant. So students as of now can voluntarily notify our office if they are pregnant, but also you could let them know that our office can provide them with these resources as well. And like I mentioned before, these are all the non-confidential resources here at the university, and we work very closely with all of these offices here. For example, if the Bias Incident Support Services receives a report and they think it's a policy violation, they'll send that report over to us or vice versa. Like I mentioned before, we've assisted with Res Life, or Res Life has assisted with us with reports. We work very closely with the Office of Student Conduct, especially placing those no contact orders. UMPD, if UMPD gets a call about a domestic or dating violence case, maybe not off campus, but it involves 2 UMD students, they'll also send that report over to us just as an FYI. But we work very closely with all of these offices here. And then these are these confidential resources. These I mentioned before. Campus Chaplains has over 15 faiths here at the university, and they're also a confidential resource. And then, of course, the Campus Advocates Respond and Educate to Stop Violence Care specifically works with students who are sexual assault survivors or who have been in a dating or domestic violence relationship. Yeah, go ahead. All right, now we're gonna play a little knowledge test, so I know that you all were listening. It's just a simple true or false. The only form of discrimination is sexual harassment, true or false? Supportive measures may be available to parties involved even if an investigation does not occur. There is no time limit to file a report of sexual harassment or misconduct. That's true. So there's no time limit. If an individual or a complainant wants to submit a report, there's no time limit. As an RUE, you have to report it as soon as possible. Yeah. Kind of what I mentioned before of if a situation occurs to a student that happened years prior to them being a student here at UMD, they could still report that to our office. We could provide them with resources. But as an RUE, yeah, you have a question? That's with the discrimination. Yeah, the 90 days is with the discrimination policy. Yeah, there's no time limit for the sexual harassment policy. And then as a student employee, I am always a responsible university employee or mandatory reporter. False. Now, the reason why I say this is because when you are working, when you're wearing your TA, your GA hat, yes, you are an RUE. But when you're out at a restaurant, drinking with your friends at a bar, no, you're not an RUE. However, if you are at a restaurant with your friends and a friend does disclose to you that they've experienced sexual harassment and misconduct, as a good friend, I would of course think that you would let them know about the resources if you are a UMD student, but you are not obligated to report that to our office because you're not getting paid. You're not during your work hours, I like to say. So only when you're working here at the university, you are an RUE, but when you're a student, when you're out with your friends, you are not an RUE. Yeah. Oh, the 90 day?
But like legally, maybe something wouldn't be able to happen. Like if you go say, hey, this happened 5 years ago to like police, they might be not be able to do as much versus here we're like giving the resources just to help the person as a person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, like I said, it's just always different for all. Any other questions? Okay, great. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. And welcome to Maryland.
Thank you, Karina. So now, if you are not a TA, you can leave. All TAs have to stay for the ELMS training. And our facilitator for our ELMS training is Marianne Santos from the Division of Information Technology. I was a TA in my first semester here at UMD, and it did take me a while to get the hang of ELMS, but you will figure it out and it will be like second nature after a while. So here is your starting point, and please welcome Marianne. Okay, please give us 2 minutes to transition to Marianne's account.
I know. I realize I gave you the wrong presentation, but it's okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marianne Santos, and I'm a learning management system specialist here at University of Maryland. I am under the Division of IT, but my title sounds long, but it just means all things Canvas. So I help support Canvas. If you have any issues and you send tickets over, I'm usually one of the people who helps you resolve those issues. And my contact information is there, but also you'll get a copy of this presentation. I also do one-on-one consultation. So it's not just like, how do I fix this inside of Canvas, but also help you think as a thought partner, instructional wise. So like, oh, I want to help, I want to assess my students a certain way. What are things I could do in Canvas? That's what I'm also here for. I'm going to talk about what is ELMS Canvas, how to access it, and top 5 things to know, and then some resources and where to find them. So what is ELMS Canvas? ELMS is an acronym at University of Maryland, which is Enterprise Learning Management System. So that's Maryland's name for our learning management system. So when you hear ELMS, it's Maryland's name. And then you'll hear Canvas. Canvas is the platform that we use for our learning management system. So sometimes you'll hear ELMS Canvas or ELMS Canvas. They all mean the same thing. If we ever change platforms to like a Blackboard or D2L or Brightspace, it will always be called ELMS. But our platform right now is Canvas, and hopefully it will stay like that. We don't have to worry about changing platforms anytime soon. Another name to be familiar with is Instructure. Instructure is the company that owns Canvas. So if you see any resources, you may see the name Instructure on it. So they all really mean the same thing. And this is just a quick GIF of how to access Canvas and on here, but I'm going to actually show it inside. But to log in, you will go to elms.umd.edu. And I'm going to move over here. I know I'm kind of short, but hopefully you could hear me on this screen. Once you sign in, this is what it will look like. Your courses will look different from mine. But as soon as you sign in, it takes you to what we call the dashboard. The dashboard is where all your favorited courses are. And the top is published courses. And at the bottom would be any unpublished courses. By default, if you are assigned inside of a course, if you're in an instructional role, teacher, TA, designer, or so on, the course will be found under unpublished. And in the left-hand side is what we call the global navigation, because this navigation will be here wherever you are inside a Canvas. Below the dashboard is courses. So if you do not see the course you're looking for in your dashboard, you will most likely find it under courses and select all courses at the very top. Then I'm in a lot of courses, so you'll see I have many courses on here. Anything with an orange star means that it is favorited and it will show up on the dashboard. So if you have a lot of courses or only any old courses, I recommend deselecting that star so that it'll be out of your way, but you still have access under the all courses. If you still cannot find the course that you're supposed to be in, let me scroll back up. You can look under enrolled as. So if you're a TA, then you should be able to find all the ones that you're a TA in. If you still can't see it, it is probably because the department scheduler has not added you yet. So make sure you contact your department scheduler so that you have the access that you need. Once you are added, it takes 24 hours to show up inside of Canvas. So if you were just added today, you will not see it until tomorrow. So we also ask for patience. Okay. I'm also going to do a walkthrough of Canvas a little bit more, but I just wanted to highlight there are many places to get help. So if you ever go to the help menu in the global navigation, there's a lot of links in there. The same information for chat support is also on the top right corner. So this is 24/7 chat support with Canvas. So if it's a Canvas related issue, they can help you. If it's more of a Maryland kind of issue, you would go to this little question mark on the right-hand side. It's called the Resource Center, and then there's links to contact University of Maryland Service Desk. And then depending on what page you're on, you'll see Canvas guides on the right-hand side, and there is student guides and faculty guides. And these are all the ones you'll see where the name instructor is in. Okay, I'm going to just click through this transition. So the top five things is announcements, assignments, grading, student view, and tools available. So the first one I'm going to show here is announcements. Announcements is pretty much what it sounds like, announcements, but it's inside of the course. So I'm actually teaching this fall, so I'm going to just use this one as my example. If you have an announcement, there is a setting for you to have the announcement show up on the home page. And this is where you just send reminders to your students to let them know, hey, welcome to class. This is how we're going to get started. Some important information. By default, students will get a notification email to their University of Maryland email of any notifications inside of your course. So any assignments that you grade, they'll automatically get a notification if you send any announcements and so on. Students can change those notifications, but by default, all students should be getting those. And remind students that if you are changing it, please make sure you turn on certain notifications, because if you're using announcements, you want them to get those announcements. Did you have a question? No, okay. And this one I've already created, but let me go to here. When you're in the announcements page, you just simply select the red add announcement, and you get two boxes, a title, and then this is what I call the RCE, or the Rich Content Editor. It's just a dialog box where you can do text, images, videos, or embed any iframes in here. So it's just a big way of saying you could put anything, any multimedia. There's additional options below, because announcements works like discussions, where you can allow participants to comment. If you have a podcast feed, you can enable that, and then you can also allow liking. And if you are like me and do not have work-life balance and you're working in the middle of the night and you want to send an announcement, but you don't want your students to get that announcement right then and there, you can schedule when that announcement is going to come out. So please don't have the bad work-life balance like me, where I'm working in the middle of the night trying to get these information. I would definitely recommend that you schedule the announcement. So like, I want my students to get this announcement at 8 o'clock in the morning instead. You can do that here. You can also change the availability. So later on, maybe this information is not important anymore after a certain date. You can do that as well. Okay, so I'm going to come out of that. And the second thing after the global navigation, when you're inside a course, this is what we call the course navigation. Every course will have a different order, a list of links in here, but to edit that, you will need to go to the settings. And also, I know I may be going fast. Please, if you need me to slow down or repeat something, I'm here for that as well. But in these settings, they have a tab called navigation, and this is where you can reorganize the different links on the left-hand side. So maybe I don't need the City Labs multi-tool. I can click the 3 dots and click disable. It moves it to the bottom list. And if there's something, oh, I definitely want to use Zoom for my course, I will enable that, and it will move that up to the top of the list. And you can even click and drag to reorganize the order. If you are editing, make sure you select save at the bottom, because whatever you put in there, it will not save unless you select that. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. So this is announcements, and then I'm going to go to another course here because I have students' names in here. I'm going to use I have too many courses. Here we go. I'm going to show here the part that you're most likely going to be working out of is assignments. So in the course navigation, you're going to have, there are many types of assignments, just regular assignments, there's discussions, there's quizzes, and they're all considered assignments, but they also live in different parts of your course. So discussions, all discussions will be under, if I could find discussions page. All quizzes will be found under the quizzes page. But all assignments, regardless of discussion, quizzes, or regular submission, will be under assignments. So I just have just one example assignment in here. Even though there are many different types of assignments, I'm just going to demonstrate just a regular upload submission assignment. To create an assignment, you simply select Add Assignment. You'll have to put in a title or a name. So this is, I'm just going to use today's date, 27/26, because I do this many times. And you'll put in your directions and information in this rich content editor. Below that, you will need to give a point value. I like to do things out of 100. You can also organize your assignments by groups. So if you know like all of the quizzes and they weigh a certain amount, so they could be organized in that specific group. Or if it's like a discussion or so on, I'm going to leave mine as assignments. You can choose how the grades are displayed by points, percentage, complete or incomplete. The most popular one is points. And if this is just an assignment that you want students to be able to complete, but is not necessarily affecting the final grade, you can select that option. Submission type. There are many types of submissions, even including a no submission. So if you had you needed a column in your grade book and students don't necessarily have to submit something to you, you could do no submission. and then you can just give them assign the grade as is. If you did something on paper, then of course they're not going to send anything digitally to you. So you could do on paper and then you can give them the grade. The most popular one is online, which I will do last in a moment. And then there's also external tool. External tool are any third-party tools that integrate with Canvas, like Lucid, GradeScope, Piazza, yes? Oh, sorry, Piazza and Panopto. You can integrate those and you just simply go to external tool, find from the list which tool you want to use, and then follow whatever on-screen prompts are on there. Every tool has its own directions. You'll notice here Lucid is in this list as well. It is an external tool, but they had a special partnership with Canvas, so that's why they have theirs outside of the list. So I'm going to use online, and this is the most popular one when students complete a paper or some other file format. You can select file uploads, and then you can even restrict it. So if you know you only want your students to send you a Word document, you could tell them, I only want a doc or a .docx, or maybe I also will accept a PDF. So you can restrict it to that specific one so that if a student put, for some reason, a JPEG, they can't because you restricted it. You can give multiple options where they will just get a text box and then they can type it straight into the text box inside of Canvas. If it's a website, they can copy and paste it here. Or a media recording, they can upload their own videos, or they can record directly inside of Canvas. And then there's student annotation. Oops, sorry. Student annotation requires you to upload a PDF for them to work off of. So if you have one, you can upload it here, but if you don't have one, don't use that one. So you can choose all of these options and the students will choose between them, or you can just have that one option. Below that is the allowed attempts. So you, by default, it is unlimited, but you can limit it to maybe they can only submit a maximum of 3 times. And after that, they won't be able to submit after. Because this one is an upload, you have access to Turnitin, which is our plagiarism review. So to enable that, you just need to change none to Turnitin. By default, it will select the first 4 for compare submissions against, and then you can choose some other options for similarity report. In addition, you can also show report to students if you want it to be immediately, after the assignment is graded, after the due date, or never. And then these are more advanced features, but if you want to make it a group assignment where you have 20 students and each there's 5 in each group, then you can choose either the whole group, each person submits something, or one person can submit on behalf of that group. The option for peer review kind of works the way a student submits work to you, but instead students are assigned to each other and they can give feedback just like an instructor, but the instructor does the final grading. The last option is assign access. By default, it will select everyone, but if you have a specific section you want to assign it to, you can select that. I don't have one in here, so I can't show that here. Or if you want to give a due date for everyone on the 31st, but I can add another assignment and say, I'm trying to remember who's in this course. I don't think I have another student. So if I had everyone assigned August 31st, and then later on I had a student who needed an extension, you will select add assign, and then you can specifically assign that student a new due date. So I forgot I don't have students in this course, so I can't show it. But do not delete the first one, because then all the submissions from the first assignment will remove all those student submissions. If you do that by accident, just go back to everyone, click save, and then their submissions will come back. But if you do need to make an accommodation or an extension for a specific student, just select the add assigned to. In addition to due date, there is also availability dates. Due date is just a marker for in the grade book, it will just give you different colors based on if it was on time or if it was late. Students can continue to submit regardless of the due date. But if you change the availability date, so for example, yes, the due date is the 31st, but I'm not going to accept anything after the 4th. So students can continue to submit until the date that you choose. Some instructors also prefer maybe the due date and the until date is the same. So I'm not accepting anything after that. And either you're doing a page or any other assignment, you have options to save. This means that it will just be like in draft mode for you. You can go back and make changes. If you do save and publish, that means the students will automatically have access and can start working depending on the availability date. So I'm going to go ahead and click save and publish. Excuse me. And then this is what it looks like when it's saved. And the next one is grading. And I think the other tip was student view. So I'm going to do both at the same time. I like this feature at the top. Anywhere you see this button, that means you could try to see what it looks like for your students. So you can do view as student. And because I only did file upload, that is the only option. So I will need to upload a file for this assignment. I don't know what's on here. Could I just use a random document? I normally do this demonstration on my computer. It says none. Okay. Okay, let's pretend I have submitted it. When they submit it, they'll get confetti to let them know this is it is successful. If they do not get that, Canvas does not keep record of any errors. So if your student says, I swore I turned it in, but there is no successful submission, we don't have a way of showing that. So if that happens, tell your students to take a screenshot, show a video that there was an issue at that point in time and send a ticket. If they wait like 3 weeks later, it's like, oh, I didn't know, it didn't go through. That's not an excuse. So you can test it out yourself in student view, and then you can select leave student view. And then when you want to grade, you can have access to the speed grader. I like to think of speed grader as, I used to be a K-12 teacher where I used to get a stack of papers, I bring them home and then forget about it. I'm supposed to grade them, but I don't. But speed grader is where you take your stack of papers digitally and you can grade one student at a time. So I'm just gonna go in here. So right now there is no submission, but any submission will be converted into a PDF on the left-hand side. You'll have options to annotate directly on that document. If they want to give highlight a specific item on their document and say, hey, this one's great, or this one, work on your grammar, and so on. And you can even do an overall comment on the right-hand side. This teeny tiny little speech bubble here is a comment library. So if you know that you say the same thing over and over again, you can save your comments and then reuse them whenever you need them when grading students. And then here, under the grade out of 100, as soon as you type in that grade, it will automatically give them a notification that their assignment has been graded, even if you're not done trying to put comments. You can hide it first if you want to take some time to grade everything before the students see it. So I am going to come here back to my course, and that will be under the grades tab. So under grades, it's kind of like a spreadsheet where you can see all the different assignments. And I had this assignment here. Right now it is visible for my students, but I can also change the grade posting policy. And then I can select manual. That means it's going to be hidden by default. for my students. I don't have grades right now, but there should be an icon. I think it's because the size of my screen. That means it's not visible to the students. And when you're ready, there will be a button will say post grades. I did allude to a little bit about the tools available when creating an assignment, where you can choose the different third-party tools. We have a lot of resources on ELMS Basics. I created this document here so that you can have links to all the different guides, one for specifically for assignments, the different types of, for announcements, the different types of assignments, information about grading, student view, and the different tools that are available at University of Maryland. So if you go to go.umd.edu/uppercase ELMS and then lowercase basics, this is a quick guide for all those different things that I talked about. I know it's 11:09, but I quickly went through that because I also want to give time for any specific questions that you have on Canvas. So I'm going to give that time. Is there anyone who has specific questions? Yes? Oh, the mobile app? I do know a lot of students like work out of their mobile devices a lot, especially when submitting. I came from where I worked out of a laptop, so I don't know how students like could do it because it's so tiny. I'm like, this is big screen activity, so I need to use a bigger screen. But there is a mobile app that's separate for the instructor. It's called, I believe it's Teacher, because, yeah. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you said something. I can't hear. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the regular Canvas app in general, and then we don't have observers, but it's more for K to 12, like if a parent wanted to see how their student is doing, there's a separate app for the observer. But it's depending on what you're grading. Like if you have 50 students and you're grading all those assignments, a smaller screen is also depending what they submit to you. If they give you like a 10-page paper, I think that's more of a personal preference. Like if you are okay with like a smaller screen versus a laptop, but there is an option for you to use a mobile device if you wanted to. But downloading and uploading certain things is a little bit different. Yes. So there's not necessarily a University of Maryland policy, but each department may have their own policies, especially like what is supposed to be in your syllabus and what kinds of assignments. So for example, I teach UNIV 100 and there are specific assignments I have to assign to my students. I can choose how I want the students to submit their work to me. Like it could be a video, presentation, like the formatting, but it's a specific assignment. And I have to choose to specifically use those specific point values. Like I can only do 200 points and they already divvy that up. So it is depending by department. But if your department doesn't have one, let me go to assignments here. You can create groups. And also depending on how you want assignments weighted, you also have an option to do assigned weights where in the 3 dots at the top right, there's assignment group weight. So even though I may have 50 assignments, it's only going to be 20% of the grade. If I only have like 3 discussions, I still want discussions to be 20% of the grade, and so on. But whatever groups you choose, make sure it equals 100%, and Canvas will do the math for you to calculate the weights. So Canvas is it required for your department? Every department is different. Huh? Canvas is required is required to be used? Okay, yeah. Okay, so in your department, Canvas is required to be used. So even though the grades may not show inside of UMEG, there is a tool that brings those grades over, but as much as possible, make sure Canvas is reflective of the specific grades. The other thing I wanted to share was there is also grading scheme in the settings. Grading scheme. If you enable this, I'm just going to show here. This one tells you the value, like if it is a 97 or higher, it's considered an A plus. You can choose the point values, so what's considered A, B, A minus, B minus, and so on. There is already a two set ones that you can just go ahead and use, but again, every department is different. You can create your own scheme as well. You can create your own grading scheme on that. Does that help answer your question? Okay. Any other questions? Everyone knows everything about Canvas. Everything's going to be perfect, no issues. Students are going to submit everything on time and everyone's going to get an A, right? Yeah.
So what some of the major questions you get like after training like this? So you come to this training, you're exposed to things, and then let's say middle of the semester, things start popping up. What are some of the most common questions?
So part of it I kind of already said, where when you're adding assignment and you want to give an extension to a specific student, some instructors think you have to delete it and then add a new one. That's when you delete it, you delete all the other submissions. So make sure you don't delete. Another one is, excuse me, let me see here. It's depending on the tool that you use, because every tool has different directions when using it. So, hold on, I'm trying to think of another one. I can't think of right now, but yes. Comment? Oh, in the SpeedGrader? Is this the one that where you wanted to save it in the library? Post a comment? Oh, in the assignments. Actually, let me just use one with people in it. Here. So like I assign everyone a due date of the 31st, and then I click save and publish. And then let's imagine some students submitted work. Let me just, oops. Oh, okay. So this one's not working right now. And then later on, you want to give an extension to a specific student. You go back to edit. And instead of changing what's already here, you click add assign to, and then maybe I'm going to assign it to Alpha Maryland, and then give them a different due date. Whenever if you change this after a student had made submissions, then the students that are really submitted, their work will be deleted or disappear. Is that what you're asking? Okay. Yes? Okay. But if you accidentally change it, you just need to go back and change it to everyone, and then the student submissions will come back. Any other questions?
have said this already, but to have like office hours where TAs could drop in if they have questions and talk to you like by indirect or anything like that?
So we don't necessarily have office hours, but we do consultations where we, depending, if you send an email to itsupport@umd.edu and ask for like a consultation specifically, either me or someone on my team will send you our calendar to sign up for, find a time that would helpful, and then we can meet and then talk and discuss. So I put my specific calendar one on the presentation. On here, it's a go.umd.edu/meet with Marianne. So that one goes to my calendar. And then you could find a slot to a time that I put available on there if you want to do a one-on-one. And if mine is not available on there, this week is crazy, but if there's nothing available that's on mine, then you can go to itsupport@umd, and then someone else on my team can share their calendar so you can sign up for a one-on-one consultation as well. We also do trainings throughout, of course, in the beginning of the semester. So today is our last one for the session. So this afternoon actually, is maximize student engagement. So we talk more in depth about the different tools that's inside of Canvas, that's native to Canvas, and external that we provide free at University of Maryland, like Panopto, Lucid, Piazza, and Gradescope, and those kinds of things, and how you can increase student engagement using those tools. And that's at 1 o'clock this afternoon. If you are familiar with the TLTC website, where they put all of their workshops, our workshops are on there as well. So anything that says TLTC is their team, anything that says DIT is from our team. Any other questions? I think I showed that slide. And I will leave it for if you still have any questions. I know it's kind of early until, what time do we have? 11:45, I think. But your feedback is greatly appreciated. If you can give us feedback on how my presentation went. My name again is Marianne Santos. There's different ELMS Canvas basics, but anything that says TAGA, you can select that from the drop down. And that's it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so I am as relieved as you that this is all over now. Thank you for coming. I know it's an early start. I know there's been like a lot of information thrown at you, but we are here to help. If you have any questions, I am in office today. I'm around, so you could come see me. I'm on the first floor, suite 1100. You could send me an email and I'll be around now if you have questions. So thank you very much and good luck with your GA. It's going to be a great experience if you make it that. So thank you.